The tragedy of Titanic ship was not just limited to maritime disaster. It has inspired many lawmakers, filmmakers, story writers to write and produce so many things on this topic. And this exploration has not stopped yet. So many people are still curious to know about that tragedy and the Titanic ship. Hello everyone, welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today we are going to discuss an important topic of GS as well as essay and ethics. So the title of today's topic is The Missing Titanic Submarine. Before moving to the points of discussion, first of all we will discuss previous day question which is related to Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, and in this topic two statements are correct, which is 2 and 3. And this statement is centrally sponsored scheme, not central sector scheme. So your answer would be only 2. Moving to the points of discussion, first of all we will discuss the news, a brief history of Titanic ship, a brief about Titanic Submersible, why it is so difficult to explore the deepest part of the ocean, how dangerous is deep sea tourism, practice question for prelims. Moving to the news part. So on Sunday, what happened that a submersible whose name is Titan goes missing after its deployment of just 2 hours. And in just 2 hours it goes missing and there is no contact made between the Polar Prince and the submersible. So this is the news, and there were 5 passengers on the board. Who were the 5 passengers? So one was French maritime expert, a billionaire British explorer, a British Pakistani tycoon and his teenage son, and Stockton Rush, who is the founder and CEO of OceanGate. And who is what is this OceanGate? So OceanGate is a leading company of this expedition. So this is the news, and we could not find the contact yet. Moving to the next part. So what is the history of Titanic ship? Why we are discussing history of Titanic ship? Because so many people are still eager to know about the ship and the tragedy. That's why it's very important to know what is the history of Titanic ship. So it was launched on 31st May 1911. It is a British registered company, but it is owned by a US. Who is the main stockholder in this? JP Morgan is the main stockholder in this. On the other hand, it started its journey on 10th April of 1912 and it got collided or struck with an iceberg on 15th of April 1912. And among that tragedy, nearly 1500 people died. And how many passengers were on board? So it is nearly 2200 passengers on board, and among them 1500 died along with the crews of the ship. And after that, the story could not stop here. This is considered as one of the biggest tragedy of maritime disaster. But this story does not stop here. The story continues, and it again came in 1985 when the wreck of Titanic was discovered by American-French duo whose name was Dr. Robert Ballard and Jean-Louis Michel. So they have discovered the wreck of Titanic ship, and Dr. Robert Ballard asked from the US that this should be declared as a maritime memorial. So US has declared in 1986 through an act as a maritime memorial. So many people are enthusiastic about to visit that place and they want to see the wreck of the Titanic ship. So this is the brief history about the Titanic ship. Moving to the next slide, which is a brief about Titanic Submersible. So the Titan Submersible is designed to visit that wreck place, and it is not much big submersible and it could not travel to port without the help of another vessel. And it is 22 feet long and it can carry just 5 people. We have already discussed that who were the 5 people. And it has a porthole window along with a toilet, and it is cylindrical in shape, and all the interiors were made up of the metal. So this is a brief physical structure of the Titan Submersible. Moving ahead. Why it is difficult to explore the deepest part of the ocean? So here a question arrives that so many people want to explore the deepest part of the ocean. So it's very difficult to know that why people are so interested in such thing and why this whole thing is very difficult. So the first thing is that according to National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, less than 10% of the world ocean depths are mapped with sonar. So sonar is a detective machine through which a person can navigate and measure the distance of an ocean. So only 10% of the whole oceanic part is discovered, and we already know that, you know, Earth consists 70% of its parts as ocean, but only 10% of it has been discovered and measured through the sonar. So in such situation, what we are seeing here that, you know, the ocean part and ocean field is very unexplored. So it's very difficult to, you know, visit and explore such things. On the other hand, two things are required here, such as satellite imagery and GPS. But, you know, they could not work beyond 50 meters of depth. So this is one of the also difficulty. The second is relying on sound waves. And for such sound wave, you have to deploy sonar there. And you have to present physically there, and it's not possible to present physically there beyond 50 meters of depth. So this is also one of the difficulty, and the most important difficulty is it's very expensive in nature, because on this voyage which has been carried on Sunday, it has been estimated that $250,000 required for a passenger. So this is very expensive phenomena, and it is not usual for a normal person. So these are the difficulties required. On the other hand, how dangerous is deep sea tourism? So we have seen that, you know, so many people are failing in this expedition. So how dangerous this is? So people who aren't expert in deep sea exploration, they should not visit such areas. But many times we have seen that so many people are going who are not trained and who are not carrying any trainer. So this is also one of the difficulty. On the other hand, generally deep sea equipments has several redundant fail-safes. There is problem in this whole pothole. That's why this thing is not successful yet. On the other hand, expensive deep sea exploration, we have already discussed that it requires huge amount of money, and it's not possible for a normal human being. On the other hand, the governments are also not taking interest in such things, because this blue economy and the blue resources has not discovered yet, and so many government is unable to find out the importance of such things. So this is also one of the problem. On the other hand, lack of infrastructure, because so many people compare it to the space energy and space mission, and we carried so many space mission, but in that thing it has been already explored and people are doing lot of research in that area. But here this area is very unexplored and it requires lots of infrastructure, and so many governments are not keen to invest lots of infrastructure in the oceanic part. So this is also one of the problem. So that's it for today's lecture. We will discuss the prelims question. So this is prelims question. Consider the following statement regarding Ganga Vilas cruise. So why we are discussing here Ganga Vilas cruise? This is not deep sea mission, but after the Titanic film, a trend has been emerged all over the India and also all over the world, and so many people wants to discover and wants to take the advantages of sea tourism. That's why this thing has been introduced in India, and this is very current newspaper. So that's why it's very important to read this. Your statement is, it is managed Inland Waterways Authority of India. It will cover the spiritual places of India and Bangladesh. The whole journey will be covered in 100 days. You have to answer this in the comment section. I hope you like this lecture. If you have any queries related to this lecture, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you.